which I'll go ahead and start that right now. So I want to respect the time and get the most out of it for you here. So you and I, when we had discussed it, the big thing for you that you wanted to get out of this is just in terms of rental arbitrage is really your route, and like seeing how I target rental arbitrage type of properties and how I'm having discussions with them and how I'm really like getting the management companies to allow this. Is that right? Is that what we're trying to accomplish today?
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point. When I get back to the local area where I'm at, I'm down in San Diego now. I'll probably just, start meet with the city or at least, get going through their websites, because it's a bit cryptic, some of them, to figure out what the rules are.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to figure out the local regulations as well.
Yep, absolutely. And the biggest thing too that I'm starting to learn is that if your city doesn't charge occupancy tax, you want to definitely start adding that in for yourself.
Okay.
Which is something that I just learned about recently, and am kind of worried about people here in Fresno because it's not automatically put in. And it seems like it's one of those areas that should have been for a while been automatically put in. But if it's not, then you want to make sure you're doing that, because you can get hit with the taxes for that, when in the whole scheme of things, the occupancy tax is supposed to be going to the guests, not to you. So
through Airbnb, you mean? So
exactly.
They have to turn it on. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's an easy setting, literally right there on the settings. It just says add tax, and you can go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead and get to it. The easiest. So what I'm going to do just for the first half year is kind of target in how I find properties that would be potentials for Airbnb. So the first thing I need to know is, actually, let me share the screen here. What city are we targeting in here to start off?
Yeah, so I was looking right before the call. I had about 10 minutes, but so I'm in the greater Ventura County area.
Cool.
I haven't figured out if Camarillo, where I live, would be useful, or maybe Oxnard. So I'm not sure how broad or how detailed you want to go.
Yeah, well, I always like to start in really, really detailed and then kind of expand from there. So why don't we get as detailed as you want to do Camarillo or Austin?
Yeah, we could try Camarillo.
Okay, so you can see my screen right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm in Facebook Marketplace. You pretty familiar with the Marketplace?
Yeah, my wife uses it to market the mobile homes that we sell at one of the mobile home parks. Sweet. So she's familiar with it more. But I just started the last couple days going in there and looking for, like you're doing here, and then also joining a lot of the traveling nurses groups and such.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, that is a good start. By the way, Furnished Findings or Furnished Finders is a really good one too. It's like $99 a year, and they just send people right to you, so you don't have to do much research. Spell Camarillo for me if you can.
So it's CAMA RILLO.
There it is. Okay, so we'll go Camarillo, California. We're gonna go rentals. And then what I'm going to start off with is like, you got to figure out, are you going to attract groups of vacationers? Are you going to attract families? Are you going to attract business people? Or are you going to attract all those types of people? So all those types of people would be like, the big houses. When I say big, I mean upwards of 1,500 square feet. With 3 bedrooms, 2 baths at the least, and that can attract business people, that can attract family, that can attract large groups of people that want to come in and have parties or whatever as well. You got to figure out what you're going to do there. I'm going to just take you through like what I do, and what I do is I like to attract small families, business people, and couples that want to travel. That's what Fresno is all about. So I like to do 1 bedroom, 1 baths. Because I don't have to furnish it very much. And then second is that, I'm going to have the least amount of issues with those people because there's a small amount of people. And I'm going to have a high occupancy rate, and my profit per night might be less because it's a smaller place, but because I have high occupancy, I do pretty well on that line. So that's mine. I'm going to let you kind of play with whatever you want to do, but I'm just going to show you based on what I'm looking at. So bedrooms, I'm going to just put the max as 1. Bathrooms, I'm going to put the max as 1. And rental type, we're going to start with apartments.
Okay.
And so apartment / condo. And the reason I like apartments versus, let's say, like a house is that I think I mentioned this to you on the last call. Apartment, you have the rent, you have the PG, or sorry, I was about to say PG&E. You probably don't know what that is. Electricity bill.
Yeah.
And you have the internet. So you have rent plus maybe $150 to $200 of extra expenses. Whereas with a house, you have the utilities, you have the pest control, you have the landscaping, and then if there's any repairs, you're in charge of that too. So suddenly a lot of your profits are being cut into because you have more expenses. And apartments, they have their own repairman on site. So I like starting off with apartments. So what I'm seeing here is, so we have Camarillo. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. So with Camarillo, there it is right there where the 39 is. All right.
Yeah. So Camarillo itself is just that it's not very big comparatively. So
okay. Well, and that's fine. So what I'm seeing here is a few different lower price ones, but the big thing is we don't, like, I went and had a presentation with an apartment today. And I didn't, when I say presentation, I think I told you on the last call also that I go in there like I'm going to rent out the place. I didn't even pitch to them because it wasn't something that I know that even with furnishing that I could attract people of high quality that I want to. It looked like it was made in the 80s and it's never been updated. The carpet looks like it's had stains in it. And I don't want to touch that stuff. I want stuff that is going to attract luxury people. I'd rather it take me a while to find a place and find the right one than to just jump into one and make the mistake and be stuck in a 12-month lease. So like this one catches my eye, $1,500. You can see it's got the granite backsplash. It's got nice hardwood floors. The swamp cooler doesn't, right? In that area, I don't think you guys probably have a whole lot of issues with, extreme weather. So I'm guessing that swamp coolers are probably acceptable. Am I right?
Yeah, there's parts of the year when it gets pretty hot, but
yeah. Okay. Well, nice pool, nice, looks like a decent complex. And washer dryers community, which honestly I'm not a huge fan of. It makes it tougher for my cleaning crew, but I do have a place like that and we make it work. And they might even have hookups in here that we're not seeing, but 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 600 square feet. And this looks like a decent start. And so what I'm doing here on Facebook Marketplace, and I would do the same thing on Craigslist. How familiar are you with Craigslist?
I'm familiar, yeah.
Okay. Same type of process here. All I'm doing is I'm just looking to send out as many messages on things that are attractive to me as possible to see how many, if I send out 10 messages and I get 5 responses and I can set up 3 appointments from that, then boom, I can start doing my research before I go in there. But that my goal is quality and quantity as I'm sending these messages, but I'm doing it quick. So I would just right here, click send, boom, wait for a response and see if you can set up an appointment. That's my method as I'm getting on Facebook Marketplace and I'm just trying to get appointment after appointment set up. And again, looking for quality plus quantity. That's the big thing. And some of these, like this one right here sticks out to me. It's under $1,100 and it's only 250 square feet. I wonder how.
I'm curious. That's Village at the Park. That's you. I don't know what apartments are even there. Okay, it's near Village at the Park. Okay,
gotcha. Yeah. This one might be more of like a contact and ask sort of deal. Like, hey, only 250 square feet. Is that really true? Because that's pretty small.
With the Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, is there a rhyme or reason you're doing that versus the apartment.com, all those sort of name brand?
Yeah. People who are posting here don't have a budget and are desperate to get their places filled.
Gotcha.
And so I know if I meet with that person that they're probably going to be more open to me coming in as a rental management company than a long-term tenant.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So, let's see, one bedroom, one bed. Yeah. You really, again, like, I'll just point out some places that I wouldn't stay, or that I wouldn't go for. This one.
That's right. That's near the beach there.
Okay. I mean, location is great. So sometimes if we sacrifice, yeah, I mean, with it being a beach, a lot of people would sacrifice the look and the luxury for right next to the beach.
Yeah.
I don't have that luxury in Fresno. In Fresno, I've got to make sure that place looks like top notch.
Yeah.
Whereas with you, you could essentially get a place by the beach, and people don't care where they're sleeping because they're going to be at the beach all day long. This is beautiful. I love, and it shows that it's new. I mean, small, 430 square feet, but again, if we're only attracting.
Looks like they built that in a garage, huh?
Oh yeah. Okay. So sometimes that people are calling these apartments that are like literally just spots on their houses.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is not bad. Depending upon the location, entries, if it's a side entry, a separate entrance where they don't have to go through the front door, and now you can negotiate prices. The way I'm looking at that is you're sharing electric bills, you're sharing utilities, you're sharing all those things rather than taking over all of them. That can be a positive. So the big thing is just knowing your numbers. Like, you got to know your numbers. So are you kind of getting an idea of how I'm looking at these? Okay, cool. So that's a really good way. What another really good way is just straight up going on to Airbnb, typing in your city. So Camarillo, California. And we're going to go to stays. Don't pick dates. When you go on Airbnb, don't pick any dates. If you pick dates and that place isn't available that day, then it's not going to show up and you might miss it.
Okay.
So what I'm doing here is I'm going to go type of place, entire place.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Superhosts under the more filters. The reason I want Superhosts is because a Superhost wants to get booked out as often as possible usually. So when I look at their calendar and I see a bunch of days are blocked, that's probably because they're booked versus like them just being out of town and not wanting to book it.
Okay.
And then the last thing I'm going to do is go to property type and put in apartment. And so now we've narrowed it down to 19 stays. So this is really great. Again, we're going to start really narrow. And then if we don't find anything that's doable, then we're going to expand from there. But in these 19 places, what I can do is first of all, I see the prices are great. If I'm going to get an apartment and I'm going for $130 all the way up to $196 a night, like, that's a great return on money. $75, if your rent is under $1,200, $75 a night works. So these are all really good. And what I'm going to look at is I'm going to start looking at pictures. And again, even though it's listed as an apartment, you just saw one that was a converted garage. What I really want to find is an actual apartment complex. So if it's posted here, then they're probably open to doing it again. So I can go straight to the source and figure out, hey, the Villa Luxury Apartments is already allowing this guy to do Airbnb. What if I present it to them too? Why wouldn't they let me do it too? So you're going to cut your time in half by using this. So this might be an apartment. It looks like it is. I think this is this legitimately looks like an apartment complex to me. It doesn't look like a garage or like a second unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out that location. So if I hover over this, you see that it pops up in blue, that's $70 per night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here. And, this is kind of a manual way of doing it. If you ever figure out a better way, I'm open in all ears for it. But what I'm going to just do, if my computer ever moves, I think it's thinking a lot right now. Did I freeze here? I think I froze. Oh, wait, there we go. And I'm just going to find the crossroads. And so this one is on, come on.
Yeah, so that's up in North Loop.
Okay.
Or up near North Loop, Mission and Mission. That's like parts of the areas in the town when they actually have multifamily. So I'm wondering if that's a ADU or
Okay.
something.
Well, next, all I'm going to do is just go to Google, and I'm going to type in Camarillo, California map.
Yeah.
I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to go right back to that area. So what was it? It was like Mission and something.
Yeah. So it was, heading up Mission towards North Loop. There's an elementary school. I live right around the corner from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go back and make sure we're at the right place. It was Mission and Camarillo Drive. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. So there's Catalina. So that must be Camarillo Drive right there, right? This one? Yeah. So it's right there. Looks like it's on the southwest side of it. So it's right here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to type in over in my search apartment, and hopefully that pops up. Oh, okay. Of course it zooms out again.
Yeah.
So it's not popping up as an apartment complex here, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's not one there. It just might mean that that apartment complex hasn't put their stuff on like Yelp or on Google yet, so that it's not showing up on the maps.
Well, I think if you go to satellite on the map,
Yep.
I'm betting it's one of those with the little granny flat, because that's what most of that area has. So
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Essentially the goal here, and so satellite here, let me see. Well, that was Mission and Camarillo. Yep. So
where that pool is and those sort of things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like it could be like maybe it's this, maybe it's like a fourplex or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, probably not what we're looking for. Like I'm looking for an actual apartment complex, of 60 units or more sort of deal.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to do is let's just, for the sake of this video or for the sake of this recording, say that this was a apartment complex, and it's got its own website and it's got its own property management phone number you can give a call. All you're going to do is just call them up and say, hey, do you have any 1 bedroom, 1 bath or 2 bedroom, 1 bath available?
Yeah.
And if they say yes, you set up the appointment, you head out there, and boom, you've got an appointment set up with a place that you already know is allowing one unit to do Airbnb. So why wouldn't they allow another?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that being said, that's exactly how I'm finding my places. So do you have any questions about that before I stop sharing my screen there?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, cool.
Not those specifics. I mean, there's more questions to kind of, like addendums to leases or, those sort of things, like the paper trail to line it up with them. Just conceptually, I haven't figured that out.
Yeah. Well, and you're just talking about in terms of actually signing a lease and being on the same page with them when they do accept it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So essentially what you've got there is you're following their exact lease. You're putting in special terms. That can be a separate contract that you have with them, or they can just add those special terms in their own contract.
Okay.
And then you also want to have a 90-day evaluation period. So that 90-day evaluation period is something that allows, and I tell them, hey, this 90-day evaluation period is actually going to protect you more than it even protects me, because in that evaluation period, there's things like if a party is thrown, if drugs are done, if there's repairs over $500 that happen in that first 90 days, and you no longer feel comfortable working with me,
yeah,
you can kick me out. On the other side, if my guests complain of safety, if you knock on their door and barge in, instead of what our original agreement is that you just communicate with me and not the guests, and now you've sacrificed, and now essentially whatever your complex has caused or you have caused to affect my guest's experience, if I'm not comfortable with that, then I can leave in the first 90 days without any penalty. So I've got legal documents that have been approved by lawyers that I can share with you as well. We'll talk about that more at the end here. But those are things that you want to have in place just to be able to make sure that, you're going to be covered. But at the end of the day, like, your goal is to get into an apartment complex and be there year after year after year after year, so that, you're not buying furniture and getting out after 6 months and only covering the cost of your furniture.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So in regards to just going to the complex, it's super, super simple, Mike. I'm going there. I'm essentially telling them that I'm personally looking for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, or whatever I'm looking for. You determine whatever you're looking for based on your numbers. And you're going to go in and you're just going to say, essentially, like, just show me around, show me the place. And as they're showing you the place, I use a formula called, it's a really simple sales formula. You may have heard of it, called FORM. Are you familiar with it?
No.
All right.
No.
It stands for family, occupation, recreation,
Oh, okay.
your message. Yeah. So essentially they're going to be giving you the pitch. They're going to be, trying to ask all these questions about your intent of what you want to do. And you're just going to be, answering their questions, but at the same time, hey, so are you from here? How long have you worked here? Do you enjoy your job? You're just going to make a friend. Like, literally, you're focusing on building a relationship, making them laugh a little bit, making them feel comfortable with you. So that when you get to that M, the message, you don't look like a weirdo. You've created this comfortable, casual conversation with them, to where when you're presenting this message and you tell them, and, on that transition, all I'm saying is, so let's just take it for an example. They've sat me down, they've got my ID, and they're getting ready to show me the place. They show me the place. I love it. I've been building this relationship now for about 10 minutes of just making a friend. And I'm going to stop them right there in that unit. I'm not going to go back to the complex or back to the leasing office. I'm going to stop them right there in that unit. I'm going to tell them, hey, Susie, I love this place. I am ready to move on this. I'm a little bit different, though, than your normal tenants. I have a different situation. I want to explain that to you so that you can understand. And if you want to kick me out and tell me I'm crazy, that's totally fine. I've been told no before, but here's what's different about me versus what a long-term tenant is that you're used to.
Yeah.
And through that conversation of what you're doing, you've got both a trifold brochure that is making it very professional.
Yeah.
And will show them exactly, what you bring to the table. And then you also have a one sheet that is talking about the pros and cons of working with you versus a long-term tenant. And I'm literally just reading off those pros and cons right there in front of them. Hey, look, for cleanliness, if you bring in a long-term tenant, you may not check on that place for a year. And when you go in there, you're going to see carpet stains. You're going to see baseboards that are broken. You're going to see all these different things that are going to take you a long time and a lot of money to be able to fix. Well, with me, I'm having my cleaning crew go in there almost on a daily basis if I only have people staying one night.
Yeah.
Which means that if there's an issue, we're going to get it tackled right away. It's in my best interest that if there's a carpet stain, we fix that right away, because that affects my future reviews if there's things that make my guests feel uncomfortable. From a liability standpoint, you're not liable. You are essentially, I'm the middleman. I'm the person that is going to be managing this and managing the guests. I'm the host, and Airbnb has $1 million policy in place that is going to protect me and protect the host. And Airbnb straight up says, whoever owns that, it doesn't matter. It's who's hosting that matters. And so those are the things that basically I run through, and, in further detail there's a lot more, but those are the things I run through to make sure that they understand. And then at the end, I just say, hey, I know I just threw a lot of information on you. I'm sure this is probably the first time you've heard about this, but is this something that you guys think you would consider? And at the end there, they're just going to either say, yeah, we can allow this. They're going to say, no, we can't allow this. Or they're going to say, hey, let me take this to the higher ups. This looks legit. I think it would be cool to work with someone like you. Let me just make sure it's good with our manager or our owner. And then from there, if you get the green lights, I mean, you could be moving in, in days if you want to. So that's pretty much the run through and how I go from A to Z.
So with the because I was thinking about this earlier, with the qualifying for the property, as far as rent, are they underwriting you as far as your income and debt to income and that sort of thing first and foremost?
It depends on the property. Some of them are going to do, first of all, I would definitely do you have like an LLC or anything like that?
We don't have anything established now.
Okay. So it's not necessary that you have, I wouldn't make that the thing that holds you back from starting, but some properties ask for the LLC and the tax ID if they're going to do a corporate listing.
Yeah.
But for example, like I just locked down one that just did it under my name and just made sure that my debt to income was, 3 times the amount of whatever the rent was.
Yeah.
So the best answer I have for you is it just depends. It's in case to case.
Well, I think I did the little research, not a deep research, but I believe like say Ventura County by the coast and that sort of thing, they actually require the business license for each property you do.
And that's good.
Yeah.
You want that.
Yeah.
The reason you want that is because it'll repel the people who aren't serious about doing this. And it also protects not only the city, but it protects you, because the city's probably in areas like that, they're probably not going to say, hey, never mind, we don't allow Airbnb anymore. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. But they have some stuff set in regulation. Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. So yeah, any other questions for me?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, because I rented years ago, right? We've owned homes for a while now, and then we've always stayed in Navy housing. As far as I know, some places we've rented, they require you to carry property insurance, like, renter's insurance.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you definitely want to get renter's insurance.
So you're going to have your own renter's insurance separate from what Airbnb's policy is, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And
that's for all your stuff inside.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, ends up being at the most $20 a month. It's like almost nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are some renters insurance as basically a sublease that you'll want to look into. And I've got a guy for that that makes sure that you can get set up with the right type of insurance.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's not a huge deal.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm a, numbers guy. So I think, like I said, I haven't really sat down to look at, the bigger name ones like apartments.com and all that. They show this wide range. So when you look in a 1-bedroom, before I even go further to contacting them, they have this wide range from 1783 to 4153. So it's hard to really, get down to the, the narrow of what are the average 1-beds going for. But I think I heard you posted today your video talking about 50% maybe, right? So you take income, knock off 50%. So that's what I'd have to determine in the immediate is, can I turn that amount in gross,
Yeah, exactly. So like, you actually made a good point there. So let me show you that really quickly, just how I determine that. So I'm going to share this one more time. So going back to Camarillo here, this. Okay. So for example, let's just use like the numbers I was seeing there. It looked like a pretty typical rent that you can get away with is about $1,400. Like let's just assume for a second that it's $1,400 for 1-bedroom, 1-bath.
Yeah.
And that means that, let me get the calculator out.
Yeah.
And I'm using very like elementary numbers here. What I mean by that is there's a lot of extra hidden things that you can throw in there that will increase your revenue. Like if you have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath that can fit 5 people, well, the first 2 people can stay there for no additional fees, but your 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you can set it, they have to pay an extra $15 per person per night, or $20 per person per night, or whatever that number is. You can determine that. So, cleaning fees, things like that like you have other room to grow.
Yeah.
But let's just say, for example, that, I mean, I think 70 is super low. The average here that I'm seeing, I think was like right. Yeah. Let's just say for a second that it's $85.
Yeah.
So let's go 85 if we're going to get to, we need 2,800. Is that the number? Yeah, 2,800 divided by 85. Okay, so I need pretty much the whole month booked.
Yeah.
Which is not promising in terms of what my goal is. But let's just say, for example, at $85 per night, and I get booked out 25 nights per night. But what I want to do before that is I want to actually take this 85 guy here.
Yeah.
And I want to see how often is this one booked out. Now, first of all, we see there's only 9 reviews on this.
Yeah.
So this is probably pretty new, or it's just not getting booked at all. So why is that not? There we go. So let's see here. We're going to go to this person who is a super host, and we're going to go down to their calendar. And that is interesting. So I'm going to assume that this person has either unlisted this one or that for some reason I can't imagine this thing is booked 3 straight months solid. That would really surprise me. Because if these ones were green, that would mean it'd be available, but they're gray, so that means it's already booked. So let's go to their other listings and see if there's anything that's comparable.
So I started reaching out to some of the Airbnb hosts in the immediate area.
Good.
Oxnard seemed to have, so like where you're seeing there, not to get too off track, but it seemed like there was more superhosts in Oxnard.
Okay.
And I think that's because that's where there's also a density of apartments. Hotels for business and stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but.
Well, wow. This is really interesting. The first 2, because
they have 29.
Yeah, they have 29 reviews. It could be a good thing. And these could be potentially booked out 3 months in advance, but I just don't really buy that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see if we can find some others.
3-bedroom townhome. Yeah.
Oh, I was only seeing 4 places available. What are my filters here? Oh, that's right, apartments.
You had apartment, right? Yeah.
So let's zoom out some more. All right, let's go over here to the 125. All right, 11, still not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the apartments would be along Las Posas or near the freeway. So.
Okay. Well, let me do something really quick because it doesn't have to be an apartment. What I'm just really looking for here is I want to see a lot of dates in November booked up.
Okay.
So let's go to.
What is it? Luxury 1-bedroom apartment hosted by Petula. I'm trying to see.
I think that was the one that I just was on.
That's the one you just on.
Yeah. All right, here we go. So now we got a lot more clusters here for.
Yeah, so she's booked up until January 19th. Or so the slash means it's unavailable, or
are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, the slash means it's unavailable.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's just see here. 109. All right, this one's got 71 reviews. It's a 2-bedroom. And okay, for this one, essentially we've got 10, 11, 12, there's 14 of the 30 days in November already booked for this one.
Yeah.
So that's good. So I'm just looking for more things like that. We haven't looked at this one. 100 Superhost. You don't have to be a Superhost, by the way, to start getting bookings.
Okay.
I just had someone, I'm going to post about them earlier today. I just had a consultation with them today, and they literally got their first booking today after posting it late last night.
Okay.
Again, most of November, it looks like it's booked. If most of November is booked, I'm putting air quotes because that could just be blocked. But again, they're a super host, so I don't know why a super host would want to block things.
The other thing I was looking to see was how recent were their reviews. So, if they had a review yesterday or something, like they've got one October. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
October. Yeah, exactly. So these are all recent, which means that it's probably a pretty good, I'm feeling pretty confident about this. Like if I'm looking at this, I'm feeling pretty confident about it, which means that I would feel pretty confident at 25 nights being booked. So
Okay.
$85 times 25 nights is 2125. Okay. Minus the $1,400 minus $200 of expenses.
Yeah.
And you're still making $525, which isn't crazy good. But what I also think is that $85 per night can be conservative because, again, we're going to get multiple people that are going to have more than 3 guests and they're going to be booking and you're going to be charging more for that. Or you're going to have those gaps in cleaning fees so that you can make a couple extra bucks on your cleaning fees.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to probably get a lot more than $85 a night, to be honest. I mean, in this area of what I'm seeing, I think that where did it go? I think you're more in the neighborhood of like the 90, you might start out lower just to be able to get some reviews, but I think you're going to be in the 90 to probably 95 range pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
And to me, this just reinforces the fact that if you're going to go the 1 bedroom, 1 bath, you probably want to be right around like a $1,200 per month rent, if there's anything like that. And because you're so close to the water, you don't have to look as nice as what I have to look at in Fresno. Yeah. So, but if Oxnard is close enough, you might want to explore that and see if there's better opportunities there, and better rates too.
Yeah, well, I think that's because like you had mentioned on, I think, our first thing, and you mentioned again about the traveling professional, kind of more business oriented. I believe there's going to be more of a draw for that. Yep. But then you got to balance that with what's available in that area too.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yep.
I don't know what hotel prices are going for, but do you so last night I had dinner with a buddy of mine. He's down in San Diego here, and what their business model is currently is they're doing pretty much the management of it.
Yep.
So they're finding people that have properties that are either second homes or, they're landlords now, and they're either offering the furnished model or the unfurnished. They furnish it, and then they're just making money in that margin. Is that something that you're exploring outside of just the apartment focus? Or
so you're asking if I'm managing other people's Airbnbs as well?
Yeah.
Yep, I am starting that. Currently, just because of comfort level, I'm starting that here in Fresno.
Okay.
And the reason being is I have the network, I already have the cleaning companies, and I have the repairmen, and I have all that stuff. I think that if I tell you that, hey, I'm going to do it for you in Camarillo, now I got to go develop that network, and that's tough. But that is something that I'm offering to local people here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But I think
I'm
that's good.
Looking at it as maybe that's another source of, if I do all the research and the apartments don't pan out, or I get, 29 no's on 29 tries, then maybe what's the next thing? Because I have a good mentor out here, and what we've talked about is master leasing in general. Mm-hmm. But I think the problem is with the master leasing, if you're master leasing the house and then you're doing a long-term tenant, we're not in a real cash flow market. So,
not for a long term. Yeah, not for a long-term tenant.
Definitely. Yeah. So the only way would be to generate more income over the short term.
Yeah.
And then another gentleman I talked to last night, he's trying to put me in touch with this girl that's local here in San Diego, but she markets to the conferences. So she markets to the people that are running conferences, because San Diego has a big convention center, and then kind of reverse engineering them as their potential folks booking her short term. So just trying to think, if I don't have the same demographics that you do, that has worked for you, what might be an alternative way to see if there's viability? Right.
Yeah, well, you're already in the mindset of problem solving, which is exactly where you need to be. So to me, as long as you have that mindset, then you're going to find a way to be able to make this profitable. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that you've just got to pay attention to is knowing your numbers and optimizing your listing. And that was one thing that, so just like the background for you, I don't think I mentioned this the first call, but my first 3 years, I left thousands, probably tens of thousands of dollars on the table because I didn't know the things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know the opportunity of listing an entire house. I didn't know about things like, hey, if you don't put instant book on there and you have all these requirements for the guests to do, that Airbnb is going to put your listing down further on the search. There were things like that like as soon as I learned that, I was like, holy cow, I went from like 40 to 50% occupancy to like 90 to 95% occupancy.
Wow.
It was
Okay.
crazy. And so, well, I mean, really, like Mike, the big thing there is just like you mentioned some mentors. I would love to be able to be a person like that for you. I'll share with you in a second what that looks like and how, we can work that. But at the end of the day, I just think that whether it's me or someone else, you just got to have someone that you're locking arms with to make sure that you're doing it the right way, whether it's just for the setup or for the continued relationship of knowing that you have a go-to person to help you the entire way. So the way that, first of all, that you mentioned some different docs and different things that you would like to be able to know what that looks like. I do offer that as a very simple purchase for my students. $195. What you're going to get with that is you're going to get all the legal docs that you need. You're going to get the trifold brochure plus the one sheet that you can customize and change however you'd like. And then you're also going to get a few different resources. And as I increase and, kind of improve these resources, you'll get the updated versions as well. But the big thing is, I've got an actual sample call of one of the presentations that I made with an apartment complex that went very well, and I think would be great for anyone to hear. So you get all of that with that one-time purchase. And then on the other side, it's just basically an hourly rate. But for me, what I've turned that into is really like a monthly VIP service, which is you can ask me any little question that you want throughout the entirety of the month, text, voice text, anything like that. If it's just a quick thing, I'll message you back. But what we'll do is we'll once a month have a sit down like this and discuss, what's going well, what needs to improve, and how to be able to continue to optimize what you're doing so that you can continue to not leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table like what I did when I was getting into Airbnb. So I think, I've got a huge package and it's, a big time thing that I think would be great for you too. But I just honestly think that in terms of what you need and how your mind works, I think that you're going to be able to fill in most of the gaps than what most people can. And so I think just something simple like that, if you'd be interested in that would be what I definitely have to offer for you.
So the monthly, that's separate to the initial 195?
Yeah, exactly. That's a separate thing.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely, I wanted Nicole to be on the call, mainly because she is, so I like to do the social aspect, bring people together, solve problems, to do deals and all that. When it comes to systems and process and staying on task, that's not my strength. Well, she just texted me. So, she said she's on there. She's listening. So she must be carting the kids around.
Yeah, I thought I saw her phone pop up here.
Okay. Yeah. So I still I have to talk to Nicole to see, is this something she's interested in doing? Because so I mentioned she had 3 clients. We just offloaded one because it didn't pan out to be the same hours that we were expecting. So when we get too low in hours, it's just not worth that time.
Right.
So she doesn't have as many billable hours as she does just airtime with the client. So that freed up some time for her.
Cool.
So that's the other thing we got to assess is, and I think I've heard you on other like podcasts, talk about your overhead as far as how much time you spend on it. Yep. Obviously it's it'll be, more at first and then you can get more efficient. So
exactly. Yeah. It's basically, perfecting it yourself, optimizing it, and then automating it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So no, and by all means, like I said, Mike, the important thing is not that you work with me. The important thing is that you just have someone that is going to help you. And if by all means you find someone that's going to do it for free and is local there, like I want to see people that I get to touch through Airbnb be successful with it. Because I believe in the vehicle and I believe it is the best way to go. I also believe that, you got to put a dollar amount on your time.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where I'm at. And I would love to be able to have the opportunity, but just talk it over with Nicole. You guys discuss and if you have any other questions, I'm here to answer them.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now is I got to figure out the viability of doing it there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because,
Everything I'm seeing there is
yeah,
that when you search that, if you notice, there was over 300 different places that are being, where did that go?
I mean more from like the regulations of the cities, because
Sure.
I know in Ventura they actually have like a cap on the amount of days per year,
Mm-hmm.
and they require you to be a resident. So unless that's part of what you have training on and you kind of mentor on is how to navigate those. That would be the biggest thing is there a no shit roadblock,
Right. Well, I would say, yeah, it's got to be something that you go to your city and talk to them about, and it's more of a city thing than it is a state thing, as
Yeah.
you're probably seeing. But what I do know is that if there's over 300 places, which is what I'm seeing here in this small area,
Yeah.
it's more than likely allowed. And at the same time, that also tells me that if places are getting booked and there's over 300 places, then there's not – the biggest question I get is saturation. Like what happens when another 100 places gets added? Well, guess what? There's also another 100 people every day learning about Airbnb.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, exactly. I've literally have like over half of my bookings are people with 0 reviews, and they're asking me like, hey, this is my first time doing Airbnb, so like just be gentle, So.
Yeah, I'm tracking. Plus, I'm gonna start if I can turn the corner on finding the place and it works and everything, I'm gonna try and start marketing to the right groups as well.
Exactly.
I already know maybe I'm ahead of the competition because I know there's people in there that maybe know the system and know they want a good host. So
Yep, you got it. Well, and it's also cool because I just noticed of those 300 plus places, it looks like there's only about 41 super hosts in the area. So you get to super host right away and you'll be in the elite, and you can do that in 4 to 6 months. So that's definitely doable. But hey, my computer is about to die here, so I'm going to make sure that we get off so that I can save this recording and send it to you. So any other questions though before I go?
No, I think that's it. I'll follow up with you definitely one way or the other, and then stay in touch too.
Sounds good. And
Awesome.
I need to listen to that. It's still on my to-do list, what you texted to me. So
yeah. No, like I said, you probably won't learn much on there. Usually the 14-minute mark is where I talk about, the goal for Mill Capital growth.
Okay.
But see, Airbnb, this could just be another arm. It could be another channel within like what we're trying to do. And the good part is my branding and everything is working because I had I had a guy reach out to me today saying, hey, I saw some of your postings and interested in doing it. So kind of
awesome.
You're ahead of where I'm at, but I want to be there to help other people. So
that's awesome. Well, good. I'm sure we'll get there, man, for sure.
Yep. All right. Take care.
Nice talking to you. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care.
Bye.